Hey guys, so in the Mobility Minute feature, we talked about the shoulder stability. We're going to keep on that trend today. So going back to what we were talking about, we want to be able to create integrity within the shoulder girdle or shoulder capsule. So setting the shoulder, hands out in front of you. Any exercise you're doing, you want to think up, you want to think back, you want to think down. Alright, so by letting our shoulders sit in this optimal position, we now have other muscles helping to recruit the stability of the shoulder joint. So, one thing you gotta understand, guys, is the shoulder is one of the, if not the most susceptible joints to injury, being a ball and socket joint. It has full range of motion. Full range of motion means it's great because you can do lots of things with it. The problem is there's generally no limiting range in lieu of full range. There's no limiting range, and therefore injury is more susceptible if the shoulder is not set in an optimal position. So, to give you an example of this, you will hear a lot of people when they're doing overhead work in the gym or in life, they tend to say, oh, my shoulders are bothering me, my shoulders are aching me, whatever the case may be, or I have a pinch in my shoulders. So the shoulder integrity is so important. If you don't get your shoulders working, if you don't get those little muscle fibers firing around, you know, your mid-traps, your rhomboids, your delts, if you don't get them firing up in order to create that stability in that shoulder, in the long run, guys, you will hurt your shoulder and you will create, whether it's an impingement, a tear, or overuse. So you'll see a lot of people tend to be walking around as well in the position of this. So we have this protracted position, you know, this internally rotated shoulders. There's no integrity here, and this tends to be how we go through life. So whether we're working out, whether we are walking, whatever the case might be, we're texting, we're in this internally rotated position. This is slowly but surely moving our shoulders from that optimal position we talked about, that up, back, down, into a not very optimal position, which is what we call the injury position. So keep that in mind. If you are that person, correct that before it gets too late. Okay, so last thing I want to show you is what we call a shoulder starter. So when you're going to the gym, when you're getting into activity, you want to fire the shoulder up. This is how you're going to do it, okay? So all I'm going to do is lie back on my back here. So on my back, I want you to think about putting your shoulders out in front of you, or your hands out in front of you, as if you were going to do a big bear hug. All right, so in this position, we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go up, we're going to go back, we're going to go down, lock our shoulder in, and then most importantly, we're going to really emphasize pulling down into the ground. So, in that shoulder starter position, if you really drive that shoulder into the ground, you create massive amounts of stability in the shoulder, firing up the pec tissue, firing up the bicep tissue, firing up the delts, the lats, the traps, everything in support of this main emphasis. So, one of the things we want to focus on in the long run, guys, is how do we get our shoulders ready for work? This is the way we're doing it. So remember, we're going up, we're going back, we're going down, and locking to the ground, firing. You want to think 5 reps, 5 sets per shoulder, and you'll see much better workouts and just much better usage throughout life. Thanks again, guys. It's been Extended Mobility Minutes. Have a great 2017, and we'll see you in the new year. Peace.